Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and more Blood and Plunder here as we start making our way through more of the Raise the Black characters here for the pirates. Today we're taking a look at another famous or infamous one, depending on how you want to categorize. Henry Jennings. So another 30-pointer here. May lead British privateers, Golden Age pirates, or the Flying Gang, so you can see him in multiple crews. Brace pistols and standard melee, so excellent stuff there. Also has the great 12-inch command range and 3 command points, so really can't ask for more stat-wise than that. 16, of course, would be nice, but that's kind of reserved for, like the most famous of pirates and so on. So all in all, really good with that. Now, we do get 3 special rules, and that really will help us decide, do we really want to run this guy? And he's pretty good overall. So bold, which we're going to see more and more of, I would say, with a lot of these pirates, right? That seems to just fit thematically for them. Hadn't seen much of that prior to getting into the pirate faction. Bold is an interesting one for commanders. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more bold to really get this to work, but the commander may always use command points normally, even if his unit is shaken, which ideally, we don't want to have our unit shaken, but it's nice to at least have this option so we can use command points to rally while we're shaken. But then also, more uniquely, we can issue command points while we're still fighting in melee combat, and that's the part where I'm saying, it's a little more risky to be in that, right? We want to be the one certainly like charging and initiating the combat, hopefully on favorable terms, in other words, our terms, as opposed to someone reaching us in combat and dictating the terms of that, because that's probably not going to go so well when people are getting to charge us, right? I mean, something's gone wrong and they've gotten to us. So being able to use our 3 command points while we're in those situations is huge. Things might seem like they're falling apart, but hey, we're shaken or we're in melee, we can still do things, right? And with those, we have those uses there. So a lot of interesting options, though, to turn that into our favor, right? And it's not just rallying, right? So we've been talking about that, but you have other uses of those command points in those situations too, specifically melee. So the other thing, though, is that he has very inspiring, and this is a huge one. So with that 12-inch command range, 24-inch command bubble, basically anybody can reroll rally tests while they're in his command range. So we can spread out a fair bit here. And really we're rerolling rerolling those failed rally tests. So, let's spread out a decent amount and still take advantage of that. And ideally for all this stuff, right, we're staying in the fight longer, making the maximum use of those 3 command points. But last but not least, we see this a lot with the pirates now. He also has God's Blessing or the Devil's Luck, giving us that 4th command point. Or not command point, sorry, 4th fortune point. And that is another huge swing in our favor, right? If you think about the uses for fortune, a lot of times we're going to use it to, hey, we don't have a favorable hand for what we need to accomplish this turn. So we're going to burn a fortune point, draw a whole new hand of cards, and having that 4th point lets us be a little bit more aggressive in the use of that instance of fortune, or just fortune in general, but that's probably one of the most common ways that we would use that. So all in all, a neat little combination there. Surprisingly, for some of these pirates, right, we don't see broadside too often. We will see that in some of the characters coming up, but he's going to be just fantastic on land. Nothing specific here about being good on the water, like seeing again broadside, Commodore, or anything else like that we've seen so often with some of these other characters from the major nations. But the pirates are very much geared towards what you would think they'd be good at, right? Getting in there, mixing it up with bold, and then still keeping our force in the battle through a combination of being inspiring and also having God's Blessing or the Devil's Luck and just having that extra fortune. So that's nice and thematic with these pirates. All in all, pretty good. And again, we have 3 different lists to bring them into, so we really could test them out in those 3, see what works best, or just keep it varied so that our opponents doesn't necessarily know what faction they might pop up in. And each of those factions will obviously let him be a little bit different. Let us know in the comments, guys, if you have run Henry Jennings and how that's gone for you. Which gang, or I shouldn't say gang, which faction did you think he worked best in? Was it the Privateers, the Flying Gang, or the Golden Age Pirates? Or did you come up against him, and what force was he being used in, and how did you overcome that or not? Let us know in the comments, like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.